Hello and welcome to Finding Rebel and Jango. I am Jade Leatham and I play Rebel, and I am joined by
Isaac Ramirez, and I play the one and only Jango.
and we are going to be talking about how we develop these characters, what the process was like shooting on film, and we'll be telling you more about this story.
Beautiful story.
Thank you.
You want to start it off?
Sure. So
What you got?
I came across Isaac on social media, and I just mentioned to my manager, "Oh my gosh, I feel like this is Django." But I didn't really. I was just yapping as I do, and months later she was like, "Oh, so guess what?" And long story short, flew him to Dominica, and he took on the role of Django and made Django more than I could even imagine. So I want to pick his brain a little bit to find out, how he did that. And I'm gonna ask him some questions, and I hope he gives me the answers that will,
I hope I'm ready for this.
You're fine. You're a professional. When did Django stop feeling like a character to you and like became someone you felt like you knew?
I would have to say the day we went to the waterfall.
Ooh, that was
That
a good
day.
day.
Jade took me to a waterfall.
My bad.
Spanny. Okay, it was Spanny. And I remember just getting out on the water, and I said, "All right, I got to get in. I want to feel this. I want to feel the culture and just the presence of the people." And I remember just getting in the water and just looking up, and I could see the water just falling, and I felt like just, the culture and the people, and just they were speaking to me,
Ooh.
So it was a beautiful thing, and yeah, that's where I dove into the character, diving into that water.
Right.
So it was beautiful. Yeah.
That's so cool because when I took you there, I was having like an experience and I was freaking out because I was like, oh my God, I don't know this man. He's gonna see me crying.
What are we doing?
No, he's gonna see me crying because I was also like hearing my own ancestors talk to me in that moment, and I was like, no, it's not the time, guys. I have company.
For sure.
So it was like really cool to hear that was happening for you too.
For sure. Yeah.
Aww.
That was big.
We got the blessing of Mother Waiti Kubuli.
Yes,
That's so cool.
It's a beautiful moment.
But I do have a question. So now you're in Django, and you're playing out what I've written on the script. What part of Django do you think is the hardest for you to defend?
To defend. I feel sometimes just that he just dives into things without really thinking about it sometimes,
Yeah.
Because me as a person, I love to think about everything that I do and have a plan. I feel like Django does have a plan too, but sometimes he just got to throw himself in the fire, and that's kind of hard for me to defend, because you have to have a plan for me, as Isaac Ramirez. But I think that's probably the biggest thing that Django does, is that he'll throw himself in the fire even sometimes he doesn't know.
I like that.
But, yeah.
That's true. That's hard for me to defend too. What do you think people misunderstand about him the most?
That he's actually a soft man, deep inside. He's a very strong character, but he also has a soft side to the right people. I think Rebel brings that side of him out. I think she's probably one of the only ones that can do that. Which I hope you guys get to feel that in this film.
Yeah.
That's the time where he actually opens up. I think the most him, and I think Arno too. It's just like a friendship and that bond that he has, but not with anybody. So that comes with like trust, patience, and like over time. So,
yeah, I can see that, because even watching the dailies, like I remember telling both Arno and Cookie, the chemistry between you and Arno, like the scenes between you and Arno are hands down my favorite. Whether it's like fraternal or it's like something intense, just you guys have this time. It reads on screen so beautifully, and I love it. And because I think I was getting ready for another scene when you guys had started shooting. So when I was watching it, I was like, wait a minute, you guys are funny. Like it was so good. I was blown away. So I'm hoping people get to see that dynamic between the two of them, because it's really, really good brotherly love. I love it.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great guy.
So is Django a natural leader, or do you think that he became a leader out of circumstance?
No, I think he was always born with it. He was always born to be a leader, and he knew it from the very beginning. But I think he's put in a place where he has to take care of not only his world, but the world around him. And I think that's a lot of responsibility.
Yeah.
And that's something that he probably didn't sign up for, but I think he was meant to do. So he takes on that challenge of just representing the people, you know, and being there for them. And I think he really takes it to heart. And that's where you'll see what it's going to cost Jango. You know, that's the thing. But I think he knows he's willing to sacrifice what he needs to do to get it to the people, you know. It's all about the people, I feel, with him. He knows that.
I will say, like, Jango became one of my favorite characters to write after seeing what you did with.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So do you feel like maybe after being in the moment and like just acting in this and being a part of something that you realized like there was more depth to Jango than what you actually thought?
A lot more. Awesome. Like at first when I started to write Jango, sad to say he was like a means to an end. Yes. But then doing the filming and seeing what you brought to him, I was like, oh no, Jango is kind of like the main character here. Like he is the force multiplier. He's the engine behind this. Because left to Rebel, she would, you know, be in her books and planning and everything, and Django's like, let's get cracking. We need to move. So
when you first wrote Rebel, who was she to you?
Ooh. I think Rebel was an amalgamation of all the women in my country that I admire. So my president is a Kalinago woman. We have Chief Annette, who's the first ever female Kalinago chief. We were the country with like the first female prime minister in the Western Hemisphere. So I've grown up in a country where women have been at the forefront of like freedom efforts, revolution, leadership, and it just made sense for me that Rebel would be kind of like something to pay homage to those women who inspired me. Because one thing I say, like growing up in my country, I've never had a glass ceiling. I've never felt limitations on myself because I was a woman. That happened outside of there, but I grew up thinking I can do anything. So that's who Rebel was. She was honor to the women who've shaped my life. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So like to bring honor to that.
Yeah.
To that. Did she change once you started playing her?
Yeah. Yeah.
You probably had this imagination of what the character was going to be like, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, now we're bringing in Jango, we're bringing in Arno, we're bringing in all these characters, and now she becomes this person that you may have not thought about.
Both for like Jango and Rebel, like on paper they're one thing. When you start putting flesh and bone to them, so I think I started to understand Rebel more. Like she became less mythical and she became like a real person. And then I was like, okay, so why does she do this? Why is she yelling at Jango? Why is she not going with his plan? What's driving her? And I had to like find her personal backstory, not just the one that I wrote. And then she became less full of bravado. And not that she became weaker, like she became a lot more human, a lot more flawed.
Do you think that has to do with Jango?
Yeah. I think Jango brings a lot of good stuff out of her, but he also presents opportunities for her to be very vulnerable in ways she's not comfortable with yet.
It's trust. I think that's what it was, yeah? It's just trust.
And ironically, it's easy for her to trust him though.
Comes natural.
Yeah, I think what she doesn't trust is their environment. Yeah.
Cool. Was there anything you wrote that you later realized, which kind of brings us to this, you understood differently as an actor?
Yes. I think I understand their dynamic a little bit differently. What I think I love is the yin and yang of them, and then I did not realize how similar they were. They're just like this two sides of the same coin. And that's like why I think they work as like a pairing, because they might have different approaches, but the underlying like motivation is the same. Which is why she doesn't, she'll get mad at him, and that's why you hear Jango being like so confident, like, she's gonna cuss me, but like after I talk to her, she's gonna she's gonna be on my side. But it's because they have this language of their own. Yeah,
That's cool.
I think that's what it is.
Did you ever feel protective of her on set?
Yes. Yeah. Because I'm like, she's a good man, a good girl, Savannah. She's just going through a lot. Like, I always joke, like, when I'm looking at the edits, I'm like, that girl didn't smile not once. Like, I was like, I don't want people to think like she's just this spitfire who's angry all the time. That's not who she is. She's just really scared. So I felt myself wanting to make sure that translates, but I still do feel protective of Rebel though.
Nice. And you just got to be careful who you trust. Well, that's what it is, for him. Yeah. It's that wall that he put up ever since he was a kid, and for him to drop that just with anybody, it's very difficult. So I do see that side in Jango with me.